Welcome back to the channel. My name's Adam Smith, and inside this prototype unboxing, very excited to be checking out the prototype for Storyfold Wildwoods coming from Open Owl Studios. This one's landing on Kickstarter at the very front end of November. I'll have a link in the pinned comment and video description as well as on screen to take you to that campaign page if you want to find out more information and follow along. I'll also be releasing a follow-up video beyond this one to show you how the game actually flows and operates. But inside this video, we're going to dig into every single component that came as part of the prototype. Storyfold Wildwoods is an innovative solo and narrative adventure board game with beautiful artwork and an immersive story campaign. It's a narrative adventure game in which you play as a young girl named Luma and her bear companion Brom as they set out to heal the forest from a dark and mysterious shadow. During gameplay, you'll use the innovative Storybook with its built-in dashboard to progress in a replayable campaign. Each session of Wildwoods is a single scene with multiple scenes forming a chapter. The choices you make will impact Luma's journey across the chapters as she confronts her fears. Now we'll take a look inside the box, but just before we do, let's check out the box, which certainly looks like a book, and that was the aim they were going for with this prototype, and in the final version, I expect it to be just like that. There's a magnetic clasp at the very front to keep things closed, and if you turn the book on all sides, it does look like a book on the shelf itself. So when you can store this thing, you'll have the binding of the book, which is like this, facing out, for instance, if you want, but no matter which way you turn it, it's going to look like a book from all sides. Pretty cool overall. On the inside of the box lid, it states, "Fear is a guide, but so is love," the raven replied softly, folding its wings. As we head inside the box, there's a couple things I do want to mention. First off, this is going to be a 10-hour-long story campaign. It's designed to be played without a rulebook. There is a rulebook still included, but after you remove the storybook, you're going to see a Call of the Wild prologue story. We're going to follow the text on the bottom of the page to get started. In other words, you dive right into the gameplay experience from the very beginning without having to read anything, which is a huge plus. There are two things to note going into this prototype box. First off, in the final release, there will be 2 custom inserts included, which will make for seamless setup and teardown. As you can see, as we go through this box, those will not be a part of the equation. Also, when completing the campaign, players can unlock a set of challenge cards designed to add a new layer of difficulty and changing how players will interact with each chapter. So those are just a couple mentions I wanted to make as we dive further into the box. Here we have the storybook opened up. You'll run into some flavor text right from the start. It says many moons ago, and you begin to open it up, which is going to expose the play area that you'll be using during gameplay. We'll take a closer look at the whole page on the left-hand side in just a second. Continuing with the narrative, it says, in a world of light and shadow. We'll go ahead and reveal the right-hand side of the play area. There was a girl named Luma. And just like that, the book is opened up into an area we can actually play the game within. So very cool that you can fold this all up and keep it inside of just one quill-bound book. Pretty awesome. At the very top, we have a full prologue. Of course, we'll be reading this when we actually get into gameplay ourselves, but I'll zoom in on it so you can read it in just a moment. It says, "Welcome to Storyfold Wildwoods. When you're ready, find the deck of cards." It says prologue on the front and read the first card, prologue card number 1, to begin your journey. Now let's quickly take a look at the left-hand and right-hand sides. On the left-hand side, we have the Luma phase at the very top left, top right, shadow phase, and then we have a number of watermarked areas here for Luma, shadow discard, shadow, and story cards. Then below that, a tracker with a loop back feature saying continue losing spirit, then draw a shadow card. And then along the bottom here, the bear, Brom, has a slot here, and then we have a number of boon slots. On the right-hand side of the game board, this one focuses on travel steps, left to right. It also has watermarked areas here for explorer and creature cards and their discard piles as well. Also areas for crystals, location markers, stun tokens, use dice, open spaces down below, and it states on the bottom right, if there are 7 cards in the river and you're forced to draw a creature card, discard that card and lose spirit equal to the creature's attack value instead. Now, for just a moment, I want to focus on the artwork here because it really is awesome looking, and I think that's going to be a big time factor and a big time draw of continuing through the narrative adventure of this game. As you can see, the artwork certainly sets the stage for the story that's about to unfold. And going along with that artwork is the narrative itself. We start with the prologue here zoomed in. You can pause the screen if you wish to read it. I'll be certainly reading through this and taking you through gameplay together in a future video. But for now, just soak in the prologue yourself. I'm going to show you the next page within this storybook just so you can see what kind of things we're going to run into, but we'll go even further inside of the future video. So after the prologue's been read and you follow the instructions down below, you'll then begin your adventure in Storyfold Wildwoods. And you'll see more narrative text there, setup instructions, how the shadows work. You'll see how you win the scene or how you could potentially lose the scene. And as I mentioned earlier on, a number of completed scenes equal a chapter. As we head back inside the prototype box, you'll see the prototype insert as well. I alluded to earlier that there will be 2 custom inserts for the components that come in the final version, but here you can see the prototype components in the 4 various slots. And these are the game components that came as part of the prototype. We're going to go through each of these. Again, they're all subject to change. We'll take a look at the tokens up close, the dice, and especially the cards. And that, my friends, wraps up the prototype unboxing for Storyfold Wildwoods, coming from Open Owl Studio, landing on Kickstarter in November. Specifics around that and the campaign page link can be found in the pinned comment and video description. And be sure to subscribe and stay tuned to the channel as I dive into solo gameplay with you all to show you how this thing flows and operates and help you make an informed decision on this one in the future. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this unboxing and whether you're intrigued. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.